In the spring of 1840, Paris breathed music, salons, and whispers of scandal, a city where every street seemed to hum with conversation about the arts, society, and the restless energies of youth. Yet even in this bustling, vibrant milieu, no presence stirred quite like Franz Liszt. At 29, the Hungarian virtuoso had already achieved fame that stretched across Europe. Newspapers chronicled his every movement, and salons were packed with those eager to witness his astonishing technique. But Liszt's fame was not merely the product of dexterous fingers or charming manners. Behind the applause and the courtly bows lay a restless, almost obsessive artist, driven not just by the mastery of the piano but by the desire to astonish. To shatter the boundaries of what was considered possible in music, one evening, in the grand salon of Madame Diegold, Liszt prepared to give a private concert destined to enter the annals of musical legend. The space was opulent, gilded mirrors reflected candlelight, heavy draperies muffled the sounds of the bustling city beyond, and crystal chandeliers cast fractured glimmers across the audience. Parisian elites, artists, writers, and critics filled the room, faces alight with curiosity, anticipation, and a hint of apprehension. The salon was abuzz, but Liszt had something entirely unexpected in mind. This would not be a polite recital. It would be an audacious experiment, a deliberate exploration of sound in ways the piano had never known. He had modified the instrument itself. Strings were stretched and adjusted, hammers and pedals fine-tuned, creating a tonal palette that bordered on the uncanny. As he began to play, it seemed as though the laws of sound had been rewritten. Notes cascaded with the precision of a torrent and the shimmer of sunlight on water. Liszt's fingers flew across the keys, so rapid and intricate that the audience could barely follow, their eyes wide, their breaths held. He alternated moments of blistering virtuosity with passages so delicate and ethereal that listeners leaned forward instinctively, as though they could capture the fleeting notes in their hands. At moments, Liszt's piano became an entire orchestra. Thunderous bass collided with sparkling treble, and percussive effects seemed to emanate not from the instrument, but from the air itself. Crystal glasses on a nearby table trembled, their fragile rims vibrating in resonance with some deep, mysterious frequency. The music was at once familiar and impossible, a tangible hallucination produced by a mind that had seemingly mastered not only the piano but the very essence of sound, yet the performance reached its true audacious apex when Liszt embraced improvisation in ways that left even the most attentive listeners bewildered. He would strike a single note and let it linger in silence, stretching time as if it were elastic, creating tension in the pauses as much as in the music itself. Other times, he would weave intricate runs that descended into chords so unexpected that the room collectively gasped. Some audience members later described a physical sensation, tingling along the spine, a vibration in the chest, as though the music penetrated the body itself. Madame Diegold herself wrote afterward that the evening felt like a collision between genius and the divine, while critics left the salon in stunned awe, convinced they had witnessed something that transcended ordinary understanding. Liszt's audacity on that night was emblematic of a deeper philosophy. Unlike other virtuosos, he did not merely perform, he transformed music into an encounter with the unknown. Every note, every pause, every flourish was a dialogue between human ingenuity and forces far greater than technical mastery. The evening's extraordinary reception cemented his reputation not just as a pianist of unsurpassed skill, but as a man capable of bending perception, of making the impossible tangible, if only for a few fleeting hours. Whispered stories circulated that people felt electrified by the memory, carrying the sensation of that performance long after leaving the salon. The experience at Madame Diegold's salon did not mark an end, but a beginning. Liszt would go on to pioneer the symphonic poem, to push the boundaries of piano technique to new extremes, and to influence an entire generation of composers across Europe. But the night of 1840 remained emblematic, fearless, inventive, and uncompromising in its defiance of convention. It exemplified Liszt's belief that music was not mere entertainment or display, but a living, breathing force, capable of inspiring awe, provoking thought, and altering perception itself. In that singular performance, one sees Liszt as he truly was, a visionary whose talent bordered on the miraculous, a performer whose music touched not just ears but the mind and body, capable of stirring something primal and ineffable in those who listened. The echoes of that night continue to remind us that greatness lies not only in technical skill, but in the willingness to risk, to innovate, and to embrace the audacious spirit required to imagine the impossible. Liszt, at 29, in the heart of Paris, had shown that music could be a vehicle for transformation, a medium through which human consciousness could be expanded and the ordinary world momentarily suspended.